Okay, so the VGX have finished, or at least I don't know if they actually finished yet, but to me they're finished.
Well, they just finished a few minutes ago, but you didn't miss much.
Um,
But that could be said for pretty much the whole night.
yeah, I feel like I wasted, a good 2.5, almost 3 hours on this show. So I'm RMG Punk or Matt, and I am joined today by my friend Carbon Fist 17, aka Perry, which is what we're gonna call him during this
Yeah,
video. It's easier
just
that way.
yeah, just make it easier.
So the VGX, basically like Spike's sequel-esque thing to the VGAs after last year's show, which last year's show wasn't that bad.
In hindsight, yeah,
I mean, um, let's just talk about something really fast. That's their Game of the Year award. So when they actually had the VGAs on TV, the Game of the Year award was saved for last because it's the most prestigious award that they have for the evening, even though honestly a VGA Game of the Year award doesn't mean too much in the
no,
gaming industry.
but it makes sense to have for an award show to have the best game of the year to have for the last award of the show. It's sort of like at the Oscars when you have Best Picture award.
Yep. And this year they decided to go a little bit differently, and I think they were trying to be cool about it. But about what, an hour in, they did their Game of the Year award.
It's like they try to throw it under the rug or something.
It's like they know that no one's going to take this show seriously at all this year. Like, not even a little bit. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god. And I'm not surprised Grand Theft Auto 5 won at all.
I'm not either, but I'm not exactly happy about that.
I think, you know,
Granted, to be perfectly honest, I have not played GTA 5. I won't pass judgment on the game, but I out of the games that I did play out of that list, I would have been perfectly fine with any either BioShock, Tomb Raider, or The Last of Us. I would have been fine with either one of those three.
I was fine with just about the whole list, to be honest. I think I played all the games on the list, and I was like, I would be okay with any of these games. Oh, I didn't play Super Mario 3D World. That's the one I didn't play. But I'd play the other four, and I would be perfectly fine with any of them winning the award.
At least I will admit, at least was a decent list.
It was a pretty decent list. But speaking of Tomb Raider, we got a Tomb Raider announcement tonight, and I'll be honest, not the Tomb Raider announcement I wanted. After all the hype and whatnot over the past couple of months, where they were like, "Guys, we're making another Tomb Raider game, and it's next gen." I was like, "Oh shit, they're gonna make a sequel! I can't wait!" And then when they drop it on us, it's a fucking port.
Yeah, that I won't lie. Whenever I heard that announcement, I will admit though, I would be lying if I said that I did not want a port of Tomb Raider for the next gen systems.
Oh, I'll probably. I don't know if I'll get it when it first drops unless we can do the upgrade program, which is probably very unlikely.
If it like was dropped in price or something like that, considering it's a port, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Tomb Raider games, so I would, give in my PS3 copy to play it on PS4 happily. However, it's
If it was
just,
like 40 or 50 bucks, then I'd be okay with that.
yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a 60 though, just because it's next gen. So,
Probably.
that kind of sucks. I mean, it does look better, but at the same time, not much better. And what they stressed on was her hair is now dynamic, which I guess that's cool and everything, but the resources that they've spent porting this game to next gen, they could have been working on an actual sequel.
Probably.
That's not to say they're not working on a sequel, but I don't think this was an announcement that needed to be made
No, I mean,
on
like
this
a
on
lot of
this show.
yeah, a lot of the announcements that were made tonight, they could have been easily made anywhere else.
There's one in particular that I guess we could talk about because you were saying something on Skype about it. Telltale announced one of two games tonight. It was the Game of Thrones episodic series, which it wasn't even like an actual trailer. It was a teaser.
Yeah,
It just announced the fact they're doing it, and it's like, okay. Like that's the trailer that they were pushing for. You guys send like 10,000 tweets with hashtag VGX, and we'll reveal a brand new awesome game for you guys. And it was just a teaser for a Telltale Games Game of Thrones game. It's a lot of
which
games in one sentence
yeah, Game of Thrones the game
by
from Telltale
Telltale
Games.
Games.
Exactly. It's like how many times can you say the word games in order to say describe one freaking game?
3.
Yeah, probably.
I don't
But
think
I'm
it
just
makes sense if they said something else with game in the sense. I'd be like, now they're just doing it on purpose.
yeah, probably. But yeah, like what you were saying, I was mentioning this earlier. Is like, why not do this? Why not do this announcement when like the new season's starting up? That would at least make a little bit more sense to say, oh, well, if you're excited for what is it, season 3 now?
I'm
That's
I'm not sure.
okay. I think it's if I remember correctly, it's season 3, or at least it's going to be released on Blu-ray next month. Then why not have the announcement kind of coincide with the release of season 3?
And it smack dab hit the target audience for that. Every Game of Thrones fan would see that and be like, "Oh my god, I have to get this when it comes out." You play it on the
Exactly.
VGX, you might hit maybe half your demographic at most,
I
and
mean,
the
I don't
other
know.
half is gonna find out by like word of mouth and Facebook and Twitter and whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, just having it coincide with the home release from season 3, you will have if you had that package say with every copy of season 3, you will have every single fan of Game of Thrones knowing it in an instant, and they're gonna tell everybody about it.
What they could have done is like, or maybe whenever season 4 comes out on Blu-ray, give them a voucher for the first episode.
That would be cool.
And maybe discount them on the whole season. Like, how they like to do a season pass where you just pay for all the episodes at once.
Yeah, sort of like what they Telltale did with what Walking Dead and
Yeah,
everything.
I think that would be a smart choice for marketing because you'd be basically printing money. There'd be no way they couldn't profit off an marketing idea like that.
Yeah, but let's see what else are they working on. So let's recap here. Telltale is now currently working on what is it? Walking Dead season
Which
2.
is supposed to debut possibly on I think they're saying the 17th, which I'm excited for. That's gonna be
Okay,
pretty
and now
awesome.
they're working on what? What did you say? A Borderlands game?
Yeah, they announced the first announcement of tonight was they're doing a collaboration with Gearbox for a Borderlands game. I think that will be interesting. I want to see Telltale's take on the Borderlands universe, and I mean Borderlands is an FPS game, an FPS
Yeah,
RPG. I want to see how they can turn that into the Telltale game style.
I'm trying to match this in my head right now as we're talking about it, and I'm just thinking like, how in the world? How are they going to make this work? I have no idea, but maybe they've already got something in the works. Thinking it's like, okay, we can actually do this.
I'll probably check out the first episode just because of how different it sounds.
At least for one, I'll say this for Telltale. At least they're doing something that isn't based off a license that's TV or movie related.
Yeah, and they're also working on The Wolf Amongst Us as well, which is like their
That's true, which
that
I've heard is really good.
yeah, I don't know, episode 2 is about to come out for that as well. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, Telltale is on a fucking ball right now. They're just pumping out games left and right. I just hope they can keep their quality up while working on so many projects at once.
Yeah, otherwise, if you work on too many things, you spread yourself too thin, and all the stuff you do lessens in quality later on.
Yeah, and Mr. Flankopotamus here in the Twitch chat has said that the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition is $60, but it comes with all the DLC as well. Uh, wasn't that just multiplayer maps? I mean,
Last I checked, it was only multiplayer maps.
I couldn't care less about the Tomb Raider multiplayer. I
I
played
did,
that game for the campaign.
me too. And I will be honest, that was probably one of my top 5 favorite this year, easy.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a good way to, March? It was one
Yeah,
of the better games in the first half of the year.
it had to have been like around early spring, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I want to say it came out around the same time as Bioshock. Like they were like a couple weeks apart from each other.
Yeah, Tomb Raider came first, and then it was Bioshock.
Yeah, so it was probably March or February. Either way, uh, those two games had my expectations raised for the rest of the games for the year.
Hmm. Then there was let's see. Now, since we got Tomb Raider out of the way, what should we discuss next? Because there's probably a lot of things we could pick apart.
Well, to walk away from games for a minute, let's talk about the hosts.
Oh God,
Now that what's his name, Jeff Knightley or Knightley, whatever,
Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley. He isn't that bad.
No, I don't mind Jeff Keighley. I'm okay with him.
Yeah, it's his co-hosts that pissed me off almost the entire fucking show. Joel McHale or McCall, I can't remember which.
McHale or whatever is
McHale,
how
he was an
McHale.
asshole the entire night to every developer, to Keeley, and to the audience. You could tell he wasn't a fucking gamer. It
It
was
looked,
obvious.
and he kept commenting on how he was drunk. I'm willing to bet he actually was drunk.
I would put money on it. He was an asshole. He pissed me off. I mean, the first hour he was talking about the fact he was wearing an adult diaper and constantly soiling it. Like, is that supposed to be funny? The
It's
only
not.
guys that could get away with toilet humor during this show were the South Park guys.
Yeah, that's because they make South Park.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I did not see the whole show from beginning to end. Like I just got done with a movie screening, like I told you earlier. But as soon as I started watching this, I could immediately tell it's like, wait a minute, something's off here. I could just look at this whole. I looked at the whole setting. I was like, it looks. I mean, granted, I won't mind. I don't mind the setting kind of being a little bit more laid back in terms of just where everyone's kind of convened together and everyone can just kind of chill out because that looked okay to me. But looking at McHale, and I was just thinking like, why do I get the sense that this host is incredibly sarcastic and not trying to be funny about it, but really almost kind of cynical about it.
Because that's what he was doing.
Yeah, I was like, I just couldn't help but notice that every immediately after I started seeing him, I was just, and I mean, I just don't get why is it so difficult for us to have an awards host that one doesn't act sarcastic, that actually has a genuine sense of enthusiasm whenever they go to the show. It's sort of like they treat it as an obligation rather than something that they're excited for. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think they should have left Keeley to host the show by himself.
I would have been fine with it if it was by himself.
Because you can tell, like, especially during the Titanfall stuff near the end, he was legitimately excited.
Yeah, I'm not the most excited for Titanfall. I will admit that, but at the same time, I was just like I enjoyed watching his enthusiasm for Titanfall. I was like, wow, someone's actually enjoying this. It's actually nice to see. And then when Tim Schafer came on, I was like, all right, we get Tim Schafer. He's awesome. So I was just like, why is it so difficult for our particular awards ceremonies? Like whenever we have something like this, why is it we can never get a really good, consistent host?
I know this is kind of a weird thing to say, but at the same time, he was good last year. Samuel L. Jackson was a really good host for the VGAs. He wasn't really a gamer.
But he was fun.
He was really fun.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch because I mean, we all know Samuel L. Jackson's a badass, but that was probably the few times I've actually seen a host at a ceremony. I was just at a VGA awards show that actually looked like he was enjoying himself or having fun with it.
Then they did that awesome little like video clip where they edited Samuel L. Jackson into a bunch of games.
And then edit his face on a baby, which was just like that was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, like really when you compare last year's show, which was probably mediocre at best, only from like presentation and whatnot,
This is like
to this year's show was a pile of shit,
this is
fresh
like
steamy shit.
if I had to make a film comparison, I would say it's like you look at the it's like this show award show this year is like A Good Day to Die Hard. You look at it, and I was like, this is a pile of crap. And then when you look back at the previous show, or in this case, like A Live Free or Die Hard, you realize I was like, you know what, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and last year I say we definitely got better world premieres.
Yeah, that was at least something. Remind me again, what were the world premieres for last year?
I
I can't remember.
remember the biggest one was our the Phantom Pain thing that turned out to be Metal Gear Solid 5.
That was cool.
Um, I forgot what else. I just remember me and my friends looking at thinking like, is this Metal Gear Solid 5? Because that looked like Big Boss, and we couldn't figure out what it was, and that was the best part of the show last
Yeah,
year.
at least it gave you questions on what it was exactly.
And then this year, the best part of the show, which is surprising to me, was an indie game
Yeah, but a really cool looking indie game.
made by 4 people.
And I was just thinking, I'm not gonna lie, I want to know what tech that game runs on because I was like, I could really use this.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. We're gonna be talking about No Man's Sky by Hello Games or Hello Games,
Yeah,
and it was impressive. It looks really cool. It's like a space exploratory slash like flying shooter adventure. It looks like a lot of things at once, and that makes me excited because it's something new.
yeah. And then there was, I will admit though, when I first saw, like when the trailer first started up, I didn't know what the heck it was gonna be, and I was starting to make like, I was like, ladies and gentlemen, please presenting Spore 2, and because it started off in the ocean. I thought it was like, and it was moving to land, and saw like all the space stuff coming in. It's sort of like, okay, so this kind of reminds me a lot of Spore, but then it just completely went in a different direction. I was just like, okay, I am so glad I am wrong right now because this looks really freaking cool.
Yeah, one of the things that the developer they had on set told us was that during the trailer, the guy walks on the land. You can see like other planets like on the horizon that are nearby,
Yeah,
and you can fly to those planets and explore them as well.
I know, and that makes me really intrigued. I was like, I want to know, like, this just on a technical level, I want to know how they did this.
Especially with only 4 people. I want to know how they did it and how long they've been working on it.
I would say they've been working on it in this secret for at least a year.
I
At
would say a
least,
year. Yeah,
I was like, at least a year.
they probably this is one of the first things they probably did when they got their PS4 dev kit, Xbox One dev kit, or whatever. All I know is that if this is a console exclusive to the Xbox One, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it probably will come to PC first, most likely. I don't
Probably.
know. I don't know why, but for something like this, like something that looks this technically ambitious, it looks like it's going to go to PC first, and then probably PS4 next because they've been so friendly with indies.
Yep.
So maybe it'll
Unless
be
Sony grabs them up before they get to publish on PC.
who knows? We'll see what happens. But either way, I'm really intrigued by No Man's Sky, and it looks really cool.
It stole the show for me this year.
Yeah, it was probably the highlight, at least in terms of reveals.
Yep. And speaking of reveals, was there anything else?
Nothing that I was really wowed by or something that really caught my attention.
We just kind of got trailers for stuff that we've already known about, like Thief,
Or
The Witcher 3, Titanfall. Wait, no, there was. We actually got a good glimpse at Tim Schafer's game.
yeah, that's true. Broken Age, which actually does look really cool.
It looks really. I like the art style of it a lot.
Yeah, the art style's really nice looking. I can't help but think like, why does this look like a game I'm really familiar with? I don't know why. It just looks. The art style alone just looks kind of familiar. And I
Yes.
like there's a game in the back of my mind that I know that I've seen an art style that looks similar to this, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Either way, it looks really really nice.
Yeah. Do we know if that's coming to console or not? I didn't follow the Kickstarter closely on that one.
I didn't follow the Kickstarter either, but I would suspect that it's going to be probably a downloadable title on console, sort of like Tim Schafer's last couple of games, like Costume Quest. So
Good
my
shit.
guessing, what?
It's a good shit then.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking like maybe it'll probably be a download game as well, or for those maybe if you donate high enough, you'll get like a physical copy or something. I don't know. I didn't follow the Kickstarter.
Right. Um, let's see. Anything else? Well, the new Ogre Titan and Titanfall looks pretty cool. But I really want to get hyped for Titanfall, but it's a game that I know I can't play because I'm not getting an Xbox One anytime soon.
You can't play it on PC though. I mean, so there is that.
I'd have to. I would definitely have to upgrade my PC first.
Yeah, I know, but at least you can. At least you're not completely cut off from playing it.
Yeah, and they've said before that Titanfall 1 at least will be completely Xbox One, Xbox 360, PC only. Which honestly, I've kind of been amused by this whole thing. When they first were talking about Respawn making a game, they're like, we are going to put down what we created. We are going to kill Call of Duty with our next game. And what's the first thing they do? Make it an exclusive to only one of the two major consoles.
That kind of doesn't make any
That
sense.
they shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. They shot themselves in the foot.
Now, if they want to bring future games on it, like Mass Effect and Bioshock onto the PS4, that's great. But you're probably not going to be able to knock off Call of Duty, at least for 2014, and probably the couple years extra it'll take to make a sequel to Titanfall.
Yeah, I don't like just if you're gonna try to trump COD, you have to be able to one match the number of times that they release every year, which is once a year. So, like just thinking about this, like just in terms of sheer numbers of what you have to sell, for one thing, you have to sell more than both the Xbox, not just the Xbox One version, you have to outsell the PS4 versions as well.
Yeah, and there's no way they can pull off both with Titanfall 1.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what is it? There's like what one game, Grand Theft Auto Five, that actually didn't it beat Call of Duty in terms of its sales?
Yeah, GTA 5 came out on top for this year so far.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think like, if you have to be like GTA Five levels right out of the gate in order to get that high. If you're going to try and say you're going to put down what you created,
And even though Call of Duty is on like more of a downward spiral right now, with Ghost being one of the absolutely lowest selling Call of Duty games in recent years, all this gonna take is this proper console, switch. People get settled on the new next gen consoles, the PS4, the Xbox One. Activision starts really pumping out good, not as zombies. Once zombies really hits the next gen next year, more than likely, they're probably gonna climb back to where they were at with Black Ops 2.
probably. I mean, I mean, I haven't noticed a thing in terms of. I don't know if like COD is on a downward spiral because anything regarding that franchise, I sort of just ignore or it's pretty much white noise at this point. So, at this like, is it really on a downward spiral?
Yeah, as of right now, Ghost has been the least selling Call of Duty I think in the past like 5 6 years.
That's I'm pretty sure it's still sold a ton though.
It's still sold a ton, but one of the things that I've noticed, because I'm trying to keep up with the gaming community now that I'm running a website and whatnot, the overall fan base has finally started to realize that this is the same game every year.
Finally,
Yeah, they're really starting to pick up on it. They're looking at Activision and they're saying, "Hey guys, we want something more." And so far, Activision obviously has yet to respond to that.
no surprise there.
They still said, "Oh, Call of Duty Ghosts is a great seller." However, we think our sales are lower because of the PS4 and Xbox One.
No, it's because you keep releasing the same thing every year.
Exactly. I want to know what dumbass sits at his desk and thinks, so our sales are down, and our game launched on both next gen consoles. That's gotta be it. That's the reason.
You know what? That logic. I've seen point and click adventure games that have a more coherent sense of logic than that.
And that says a lot.
Yeah, it's just like I just. I mean, I actually got into a conversation with someone last night, and we're trying to trying to. I wouldn't say defend COD, but try to say that, like, they've expanded the zombies mode or something like that. And it's just like, really, you're trying to defend this mode over anything besides? What's different besides this from every other zombie thing ever out right now?
Let's segue that into my second favorite game that was showcased tonight, Dying Light, which is, it looks like, as you described it, Mirror's Edge meets Dead Island.
Which I don't know about. I don't know whether that's an accurate description or not, but that's the only thing I can think of.
That's what I thought of. Because you have that Mirror's Edge, like parkour, super awesome parkour going on, but you have
Yeah,
that open world style of Dead Island.
yeah. It looked. It almost looked like it was dead. It looked like a spin-off of Dead Island if Mirror's Edge was in a post-apocalyptic zombie world.
Which I absolutely have no problem with whatsoever.
I won't lie. Like I always like parkour elements that when they're done well. But whenever I kind of chuckled a little bit whenever I saw the guy bounce off the zombie. It's like, so apparently a zombie is a trampoline in this world.
Yes. They
So I was
take
thinking,
parkour to new levels.
yeah, I was just like, so how does gravity on this world work? So I mean, I'm not trying to be cynical about the game. I'm just kind of trying to enjoy the trailer and look at the little nuances of the gameplay, how it works. Don't get me wrong. I was just thinking like there are some points where I was like, this could actually be a lot of fun. It's just for me, I'm just so tired of seeing so many things containing zombies now. It's just like, come on, folks, we're getting kind of oversaturated at this point.
I would say we are oversaturated with zombies at this point, but I do, when things that do things differently do catch my eye. And Dying Light, compared to some of the other recent um, zombie games, is doing things differently. It has gotten my attention. It didn't really have my attention so much at E3 because you didn't see any gameplay of it. It was just a trailer. Now that
Grant, really awesome song by Woodkid.
yeah, now that we've seen gameplay, I would say I'm interested a lot more than I was before.
I will admit, I'm not being. I don't. I am not going to be as. I'm probably not going to be as cynical about this particular zombie game because of the fact that it's doing the parkour element, which I'm okay with. But at the same time, I'm just thinking like, you probably could have thought of another concept besides zombies. But again, I won't be as hard hitting as this one.
Yeah, I think I'll need to see more of the game before I make a definitive decision
Mm-hmm.
on it. But for now, it's looking pretty solid.
Yeah. When do you think that's going to come out?
You know, honestly, I see most of the games being showcased lately. I see it being as our fall slash winter of 2014.
Yeah, that would probably be a fair statement. Nothing about any of these games really seem like summer titles or anything like that we would be playing during summer break.
What's terrible is that, I was watching a video of a guy, looking at big releases for the first few months of 2014, and we're going into a very bare bones year from the straight out the gate. There's not
Yeah,
there's not really a lot. I mean, you got Infamous Second Son in March, which is looking to be the highlight of the first little quarter. Um, you got Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns in February. Uh,
which isn't looking bad. I will admit.
Everyone's saying it's pretty good. So from people who have it in Japan already.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna be optimistic about it. I've played the first two Final Fantasy 13 games. I do think, going on a bit of a tangent here, I do think they get a little bit more shit than they deserve. but I might as well finish the trilogy, so I might as well just get the third game and finish the story up. So,
Yeah, yeah. We seem to be getting a little off topic here with going into next year, but Liz, is there anything else that we can think of for this ceremony or this award show that is worth mentioning?
well, apparently the little concert at the end um, went into a super like R-rated fuck your mama bitch ass pussy rap concert.
Ugh.
Um, I cannot get behind that.
Neither can I. I mean, I don't. I'm not even. I don't. I don't want to diss people's taste in terms of rap music or anything. If that's what you like, that's perfectly fine. But I mean, think about it. Like when was the last time we had a really good musical performance at our at an awards ceremony with an awards show? Last I remember was Far Away with Red Dead Redemption.
Sounds
Like that,
about right.
yeah. When they did what was it, best original song, and they then I can't remember what his name was, but when the artist the singer for Far Away, he came on stage and actually performed it live. I was like, wow, this is really good.
Yep.
So I'm just thinking, like, really, could you not think of some like? Do we have to have like a music? Here's one question I want to pose. Do we really need a live musical performance for this kind of show?
No.
I mean, is it really necessary?
Not even a little bit, to be honest with you. I mean, we're here to look at video games.
Yeah, we're not here to go to watch a concert. If we want to watch a concert, we'd actually go to a concert.
Exactly.
So I'm just, and plus, it's not as fun to watch a concert from a screen than it is to actually be there.
Yeah, so I guess overall, this was a really, really weak show. Really
Yeah,
weak.
it just okay. While we're on the subject, just the fact that it's a weak show, what we could probably let's have a couple of suggestions of like, well, pretty much a whole slew of suggestions and say, okay, what do VGX? Sorry, I'm still getting used to that. What does the VGAs need to fix from this year, as opposed to what they were doing last year? So, Matt, what are some of your suggestions for this kind of little faux pas of theirs?
Step one, go back to calling yourselves the VGAs. Drop this VGX nonsense. Step two, make it an actual award show again. Make it seem like it has some form of dignity to it. Step three, get a host that actually is a gamer, and that doesn't mean a YouTube gamer. Get some developers to host it.
Get a developer to actually get a developer. Here's a caveat though. Get a developer who is not afraid to be on camera.
Ken
Because
Levine.
yeah, Ken Levine. Oh, that would be a fun host. I'd love to see that.
Yes.
Or Tim Schafer. I think he'd be fun.
If maybe both. They don't have to do co-hosts.
Have him and Jeff Keighley be on hosting together. That would sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Step four, put your fucking Game of the Year award at the end of the show. Drop the
Yeah,
musical acts. They're done. No one cares. And next year, give us some world premieres that people are actually going to really care about when it comes to
yeah.
new
Or better yet,
games.
have them be actual premieres, not
Yeah.
like actual. Like I don't. I feel like this is just me. Just okay. Small little nitpick here, but when it comes to the word premiere, I think of something that you have not seen yet, or have revealed already, but have not shown in greater detail. Sort of like, here's a good example. We already knew that there was an Uncharted game coming for PS4, correct?
Yes.
But show us what Uncharted on PS4 is going to be like. That would have been perfect for a world premiere. We already knew the game existed, but we had no idea what the game was going to be like,
Especially since, both Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us were revealed at the VGAs.
which would make sense for
And
Naughty Dog, and the fact that they won Studio of the Year.
yeah, they should have been like, hey, we won Studio of the Year, thanks a lot, here's something back for you guys to see.
And then every Uncharted fan, PlayStation fan, would have lost their marbles over that.
Yeah, and the fact that we didn't get anything tonight, Unfortunately means we're not going to see any Uncharted 4 until June.
Probably not, but at least then we'll be salivating for it so bad that we'll just go nuts over it.
Yep. And there was
Let's
one
see.
thing we forgot to mention.
Oh, what?
Nintendo and Reggie doing their thing.
Oh, I didn't see that segment,
Oh,
so
okay. So for
you have to just go completely nuts, man. You have free range.
the past few days, the internet has been in a frenzy after Nintendo announced that Reggie would be at the VGX to give us a world premiere for something.
Oh man.
I was like, oh yes, here we go. I was ready for a new Legend of Zelda. We know it's going to be at E3, so why not give us a teaser at the VGX?
That would have
What
been nice.
what do we get instead? Well, something that leaked on the internet a couple days ago. Cranky Kong is in Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze, and I'm like, ugh, really? This was your big reveal for Nintendo's first time ever at the VGAs?
That's not even worth the screen time. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of cool there's another playable character, but seriously, this is like going back to what I was originally trying to say is like you could remake this announcement anywhere.
That's a Nintendo Direct tier announcement.
Exactly. That's Nintendo Direct level stuff. I mean, and I'm not trying to say that's an insult. It's just like that's something you could say for Nintendo Direct. That would have been perfectly suitable.
But that's not
But
even the worst part. Um, our
oh,
favorite our
what's the
favorite
worst?
co-host turned to Reggie and said, "So, what do you think about the PS4 and the Xbox One?"
Oh boy.
And Reggie looks at the guy and he goes, "Well, they had a pretty fantastic launch, but the only thing that matters is what's going to be happening with consoles 6 months down the road, and I think you'll see the Wii U doing better than them." I couldn't help but laugh. And
Uh,
then Reggie goes on to say, "What you need on new hardware is games, and we have games." And I laughed harder. Most of the games on the Wii U you can find on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
I can only think of one exclusive on their hardware that I'm actually interested in playing that's coming in the next half of the year. Or I don't know. Okay, question. Let me say this before I have to correct myself. Is Smash Brothers Brawl coming, or Smash Brothers for Wii U coming next half of the year?
We're not sure. We just know it's sometime in 2014.
Okay, and there is a new Mario, and there a new Mario Kart in that half of the year?
We don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to say this out of the limited knowledge I have right now, but the only game that is on Nintendo systems that I still think makes no sense is Bayonetta 2. Like, that's the only thing on that system that I'm even the least bit curious about.
And
But
honestly, the best thing they really have on consoles already is Super Mario 3D World. And that's just
and,
about it.
and an HD port of Wind Waker.
Yeah, and Wind Waker. Well, you can't really count Wind Waker because it's an HD port.
Yeah, I know, but
So it's
I'm
like
just
half, it's like a half a point.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just like something about I don't know. I don't even know what to say with Nintendo at this point.
I know
Because
this is very unpopular and really unrelated to what we're doing right now, but um, Nintendo needs to plan their next few moves very, very carefully. They're already losing money off the Wii U.
yeah,
They need to step things up and fast. Really fast.
yeah, they need to.
They'll end up like Sega if they're not careful. And it's become a publisher
Yeah, I
slash
mean,
developer.
yeah, that's Sega has been kind of been on my mind for some reason, like for the last couple of days, and but that's unrelated. But that's another discussion for another day. But you're right. I would agree with you in saying that Nintendo needs to. They need to get their act together fast. Like something. I don't know why, but something tells me this is a very how do I put this bleak future. I mean, and I know. I mean, I've heard from a couple people that are Nintendo fans, like people who I know to be more core Nintendo players than usual, have said that they haven't played much of Nintendo systems at all this year.
The only Nintendo system I can say that's really been doing good is the 3DS. But it's one thing to dominate the handheld market, but your real fierce competition is in the home console market, and you're getting thrashed right now.
Yeah, it's like they went from let's see, they went from let me get this straight. They went from third place to first place, then back to third.
Yeah, and honestly, they were only in first place for what, 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Well, I'm talking with the Wii. I'm talking with the original Wii in terms of sales and
Yeah,
such.
that's what I'm saying. Like the
Oh,
360 started to pass it out after about 3 or 4 years
yeah, that's true.
because everyone had one.
Yeah, after the first year or so, or first half of the console's launch, no one could get anywhere, and then all of a sudden, bam, everyone has one, and the novelty wore off quickly.
And now they're worth less than $100.
Yeah,
And the Wii U is a console that I think the Wii U is the console that should have launched alongside the 360 and the PS3.
yeah. It's just it seems like Nintendo, and this is probably going to turn into a massive Nintendo rant, but they seem to be so hesitant about everything that they do. Like they don't like a lot of stuff that they do doesn't have a lot of forward thinking in it. Does that make sense?
They just kind of do stuff that they drop on the spot, and they don't think about if it can last long term.
No, that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that they don't do a lot of forward thinking. They just this is their first HD system ever when they should have done it way back with the 360 and the PS3 launch. At least then they wouldn't be having everyone. I've been hearing people, and just this is just down the grapevine, that they're having trouble HD developing for games. Is
If
I don't know
that's the
what.
case, they're fucked. Because we are now officially 100% in an era where HD is the standard.
Yeah,
And 1080p is becoming the standard. Not just 720, but 1080p is the standard for PS4 games.
and then once again the next gen, once we have like actual maybe affordable 4K screens,
Oh god, Nintendo will piss themselves out of desperation to get something that resolution.
yeah, they'll be like, what do we do with all this resolution? Here, well, you're Nintendo. You're supposed to be good at this creative stuff. I don't know. It's just, and I don't want to sound like I'm bashing any Nintendo apologists, but I really don't know how some. I mean, if you're supporting the 3DS, that's perfectly fine. The 3DS is no problem whatsoever. But console wise, I'm just thinking like I don't understand how you can keep supporting this system.
Because even when Smash Brothers and Mario Kart come out, the thing that every console needs is third party support.
Which they do not have a great track record of.
Yeah, they pushed out a lot of people with the Wii because of the limited capabilities of the system. And now these people have, they've been developing for the 360 and the PS3, now the PS4, Xbox One for like the past like what 6, 7, 8 years now. And now
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's like, hey guys, look, we got an HD system too.
And everyone,
Want to develop for us?
everyone probably in the industry's like, no thanks, we're good.
Pretty much.
But yeah, that was just a whole massive Nintendo tangent off the beat. But just so basically, they kind of shot themselves in the foot way again with this Cranky Kong announcement.
So I think Nintendo and Respawn need to get together and just shoot each other in the feet for a couple weeks.
They need to exchange firearms for a little bit. It says, "Hey, can we borrow your gun for a second? We need a spare bullet."
Yeah, there you go. That's it. But overall, let's just wrap this up and just look at the VGA or VGX, excuse me. Overall, is it the shittiest Game Awards show you've ever seen?
Um, in terms of like overall, I would say I was. I would say this. I didn't feel like I felt like I could have watched any of these announcements from anywhere else. Then, yeah, I would say this is probably a fairly disappointing award show to say the least. So if I was like, I'm trying to think if I had to give this a letter grade.
Or even
From
just put it on your own review scale.
Oh yeah, right, my own review scale. I haven't done. Sorry, I forgot. I've been done that forever. Well, sorry, I haven't done this in 4 months, so it's kind of rusty.
No, that's good.
Um, let's see. If I had to put this on my own reveal scale, I would have to say, ooh, I almost want to say watch it at your own risk, but after so many downsides, I was just like, I can't let one reveal forgive an entire award show. So I'm gonna have to say, kill it with fire.
Yeah, there's no way that one awesome reveal and one good reveal, with that being Dying Light, they can't save a 3-hour show.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, it's abysmal to say the least.
So I'm gonna give this on the official RasterMasterGames.com review scale a 0.5 out of 5.
Ouch.
Almost as low as you can go, with only two things that really make it worth watching, and even then, that takes
You
up
could
about 10 minutes of 3 hours.
Yeah, you could easily watch any one of those trailers or reveals on YouTube. In fact, they're probably up on YouTube right now.
Yeah, they probably are, most likely.
So there's like there you go. There's the two reasons you can watch the show. You don't have to sit through 3 hours of crap to sit through to watch two things that were actually decent, and one was actually fairly awesome looking.
Yeah. So I think
Actually,
that's gonna do it.
no, three things. Three things.
Three things?
Broken Age, Dying Light, and No Man's Sky.
Right. I keep forgetting about Broken Age. But even then, it's still probably gonna get the same score. Because that's still
Yeah,
just a fraction of the
it's still
show.
it's still it's still only three small announcements out of an entire 3 hour show, like you were saying.
So I think that's gonna wrap up our rants, reactions, and review of the Spike VGX awards show. And Perry, if you want to
Oh,
plug your content real fast, I know you've been on a break, but if you want to go ahead and just plug your channel and whatnot, feel free.
yeah, I just want to make a quick announcement. Like, I am working. Like, this has literally been the busiest semester I have ever had in college. So I am working on a teaser to give people a taste of what I'm going to be reviewing. And Matt, you are aware of some of the stuff that I'm going to put in the trailer. So, like, just I won't say what are some of those content are, but just look forward on my channel, Perry the One Armed Legend. In the next couple of days, I will have that teaser up just to give an idea of what's going to come. I haven't decided on an official date yet when I will be back, but it will be some point within the next week or so. Like once finals are over, then I will start flooding my channel with new stuff.
Sounds like fun times are ahead.
Yeah, I just hope that I can actually keep up with everything that I'm trying to, because I have literally 4 months of movies and games to cram in to one break. So, but granted, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, just sacrifice your entire break to anime, movies, and video games.
And I will have no problem with that.
Alright, so I'm Matt, and that's Perry, and we'll see you guys probably for another discussion video somewhere down the line. And if you haven't already, check out www.rastermastergames.com. But I did a little facelift to the website the other day, which is why there was a lack of news for the past week or so. Been trying to get graphics to the quality I wanted, but now the website's pretty much running smoothly, and you should all give it a chance if you want. This video will be available on that website first. So if you're watching this on Twitch and you missed part of our discussion, that is the place to look for it. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys soon for some gameplay, including Saint Seiya, Brave Soldiers for the PS3, and then whatever PS4 game is going to win the playthrough showcase contest on my YouTube channel, RMGMD Punk. But for now, we'll see you guys later.
Later.
And now I have to try and get this XSplit to quit recording.